We're delighted to welcome another of this year's University of Staffordshire Business Awards finalists to the studio. I'm going to hand over to her so that she can introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Amelia Bilson and I'm from Middleport Matters Community Trust. I live in Middleport and approximately 10 years ago I started a Facebook group and I called it Middleport Matters, and I asked the community, is there anybody that thinks Middleport matters, and does anyone want to do anything to help? A group of residents said they did, and the charity has now become what it is today.
Yeah, so I was going to say, nearly 10 years later, what began as that Facebook group is vast, and it has quite a big reach, doesn't it? Not just in Middleport, but the wider area as well. So can you tell us some of the things that Middleport Matters does now?
Yeah, of course. So our vision is to see a safe, welcoming and thriving neighbourhood, which is quite an ambition. And I understand I might never see it fully come to fruition in my lifetime, but that is our aim. And so what we want to do is bring people together, and that's of all ages. So we run toddler groups, we have a really exciting youth club, we also run adult activities every day of the week, just to bring people together, improve that sense of belonging, just to bring back neighbours knowing neighbours and helping each other out, just that how it kind of used to be.
Yes.
Middleport has a bit of a difficult history. It's been through regeneration plans and master plans that didn't really work out. We've had streets and streets of housing demolished, and as a result, the local school was demolished, the local church was demolished, the working men's club was demolished, and that's how Middleport sort of ended up in this state where the community was disconnected, and that's why Middleport Matters was needed. But as somebody who lives there, there was nowhere to go. Even the local park, was abandoned really, frames without swings on, that kind of thing, and it just wasn't safe. And I just wanted where my children live to be safe, and I wanted them to grow up in a world where people care for each other, and just not the state it was in. We do have a history of drugs and prostitution and high unemployment and all that comes with all of that, antisocial behaviour. Arson was a big thing in our community because of all the derelict buildings.
Yes.
So it really was just a catalyst for all of that, and it's not a place to bring up children really. But I was living there, so I had a choice. If I want to live there, do something about it, So that's what happened.
So you initially set out to try and create a nicer place for you and your children to live, and actually you're helping everyone around you at the same time.
Yeah, I guess it's a byproduct, isn't it? My ambition is always for my kids.
Yes.
But to do so, I do believe it takes a village to raise children, and so I needed to know who the village was, and I knocked on every door on my street multiple times, just to introduce myself, say I'm your neighbour, what do you like about the area, what don't you like about the area, I learned a lot about the history from before I lived there and why Middleport got into the situation that it was in. But it was exciting to find enough local residents who wanted to help make where they live better, and so we became a constituted community group.
Yes.
Then we became a registered not-for-profit business, and just at the end of last year we actually registered as a charity as well, and now we have business premises. So about 5 years ago, maybe nearly 6 now, we got our first premises, which was very exciting.
Yes.
Because board meetings at my kitchen table was a bit difficult with the kids running around.
Absolutely.
So it was great to have our first premises, and now we have 4 venues. They're all small, but they're hyper local. So we have rent some space from the local church, we have some space from Middleport Pottery, we have our new youth building called The Block, which is in Middleport Park, and also we manage a project called Root and Fruit Community Allotment, which is an amazing space. It's more than an allotment, it's a garden, it's a wonderful outdoor space. So it's really exciting to see what it's become. It was certainly never my intention for it to grow like it has. We have around 10 staff now, and as I say, it's just been really exciting to have local people helping local people.
Was it hard to get that trust, to win that trust from the local community?
Yes, Yes, it was. I think when communities have had a lot of things done to them in the past, a lot of promises been made that didn't happen. You do get a couple of doors slammed in your face saying, I've heard it all before. But I think the difference was that I was their neighbour. I wasn't a council worker. I wasn't a charity that had a project that they wanted to do something to people. I was just their neighbour.
Yes.
Saying, hey, I'm your neighbour. I'm not going anywhere. So why will we fail?
Yes. Yes.
It's not a job that somebody else is going to take over and then you've lost that relationship. I'm just down the road, and I think that consistency of just always being there, being on the street litter picking with my children, people seeing me in the local park, I think you gain that trust over time and people realise actually she means what she says. She really does care about Middleport, and the hours and hours spent just meeting people and building that trust, people then change their mind and realise actually we can do it for ourselves.
10 years later, you're still there, you're still doing this.
Yes, it's been quite a long 10 years. And as I say, we've grown and changed in a way I couldn't have imagined. And I'm excited for the future. We're now being more intentional, whereas before, I guess as a voluntary group, you kind of fall into the things that come easy, maybe, litter picking's obvious and things like that. Now we're being more intentional, and our mission is for a thriving community. So we're asking ourselves, what does that look like? And we've reflected and realised that over the 10 years, we can do big events and we can do, lots of regular activities. But actually, we feel that focusing more on an individual level, working with people one-on-one and saying, what does it mean to you personally to thrive? And what are the barriers that are stopping you get there? How can we support you to, whether it's accessing services, whether it's could we give you some volunteering work that can give you some skills and experience that will help you get that next step in the direction you want to go? Is it confidence that you need? So we're now being more intentional with the thriving. What does that look like? So we are about to launch a bikeability course where we're going to teach people how to ride a bike, repair their bikes. We had no idea that actually there is a lot of people that don't know how to ride a bike, and actually that could help them maybe get to work because public transport's not great and things like that. We've also signed up to be a digital hub because, again, lots of people have digital poverty. Again, something that I might take for granted, but people, don't have employable skills if they can't work a computer. So we're looking at all these different things that we can do to support people so that they individually can thrive.
Yes. Because
we believe if the individuals thrive, then the community will thrive.
When you look around you, it's the community that you still live in. Can you see where you've been? Can you see the real difference that you've made over the last 10 years?
Yeah, Middleport is not the place it was 10 years ago. And whilst I wouldn't sit here and say, we can claim the credit for all of that, I do believe that we've been a catalyst for change. So there have been, land and streets of housing, as I say, what was demolished and left empty. And there was kind of nobody really paying attention to it. Nobody really cared. So the more I complained, the more people listened, or the more publicity we got, the more other organisations wanted to come and partner with us. And it's the partnerships that have really driven the change. Different organisations saying, well, I can come and paint that mural, or I can, come and volunteer. In different organisations, we've had hundreds of volunteers over the years, hundreds and hundreds of, whether it's just for a day or it's for a week. At the moment, we've got this fairly new partnership with Stoke-on-Trent College. They're bringing, whole classes of young people to come down and serve in this community. And I think that's what really you can see tangibly, is that physical regeneration, but also the community, like people are out and about in a place where the streets were kind of empty because it didn't feel safe. It now does feel safer. We don't have lots of derelict properties anymore. There are only now a couple of factories. All the housing is now rebuilt. We have new families in the area, and it does feel a more hopeful place to live.
We're delighted that Middleport Matters is a finalist in the business and the community category, which is a bit of a catch-all category, really. So charities and community interest companies can enter that as well. Do you work with lots of businesses? Do you have businesses supporting you?
Yeah, so we do work with lots of businesses. So we get really excited when we need tombola prizes and things like that. We love it when the businesses donate to us. So like our local butchers, Wayne Walker's, he'll donate in. Middleport Pottery have been brilliant for that, and Steellight. We've had loads of crockery from Steellight, and I love it when local businesses can see, actually we can support the local community as well in their way. But we've even had Michelin, they came down and volunteered for a day helping us, and we've had a cleaning company come and spray graffiti off the wall and things like that. We've worked with young offending young people and all different organisations really, people that want to give back to their community.
If there's anybody listening to this or watching this and they're inspired to want to do something to help you, how can they find out more?
Well, we do have a website, middleportmatters.co.uk. We're also on Facebook. That's probably where we put most of our activity. They could email info@middleportmatters.co.uk and just reach out and let us know how you want to get involved. We're very open. If you've got a willing passion for serving, we can definitely make use of you.
Right, you always need volunteers, you always need helpers.
Always need volunteers, yeah. Whether it's for an hour or it's for a year, we can definitely make use of anyone that wants to serve in Middleport.
Thank you. Well, congratulations again on being a finalist. It's lovely to talk to you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.